Welcome, welcome. Okay, we have made it to page 83 in the physical book, Kennedy and Trump. We're going to continue on looking at the Kennedy and Trump book, reading through it. Keep going. You never know what we will find. The global distribution any day now. I'm just waiting for it to get approved, and then that will be approved. So it'll be on Amazon and all the major publishers worldwide distribution. If you have not ordered the book, or if you want to know where to go to find it, just go to kennedyandtrump.com. That's Kennedy and A-N-D Trump.com. And once you get there, you can just browse around here. If you just want to download the free PDF, you can do that by just clicking on where it says book by Greg Fernandez Jr. or to read more. When you scroll down, you also have the option to purchase the book directly from Lulu. You can download it for free right there. And then, of course, very soon should be available on Amazon. Not sure about Barnes and Noble, but at least on Amazon.com. And then the story continues. If you want to get a glimpse of what I'm going to be writing for part 2, which will not be out for another 4 years, because I'm going to release that. I'm going to basically cover the next 4 years of the MAGA and MAHA movement. So that's what you'll have here. But I will be periodically adding to this blog here. So if you do want to get a little insight on what book 2 will be about, it will be right there. Just a few other things to cover. As you scroll down here, you can follow along, obviously, with the book reading series. We're on episode number 11. I am posting it. I'm way behind, as you can see, but there will be an audio version, and that will be posted directly here too. So I'm kind of editing those down, and so I only have episode 1 and 2 so far, but that is, you can find, this is the Spotify link. These are Spotify audio, so you can find that there for the new podcast. Kennedy and Trump Saga, the clip-umentary, if you just want to watch small little clips of Kennedy and Trump over the past, and then, of course, what they're going through now. Then we have the Kennedy and Trump podcast, which I will periodically add more to. We're at 141 shows on that. So if you want to go back and review some of those amazing moments. And then, of course, the clips of Kennedy and Trump. Those short little clips are all there. And if you're interested in other books by me, by Greg Fernandez Jr., you will find all of that here. Click on any of the photos, click on some of the links, and everything is free, free PDF download. And then, of course, I am working on the next book, Shadows of Light. So that one will be out very soon. My good friend Crip Rick is going to do one final last proofreading, since I've already had Catherine do about 5 or 6 of them. So she's been an amazing help, my editor, Catherine Michelle. And so Crip Rick I sent him a copy. He's going to look it over too. And then I'll probably read through it one more time. And then hopefully that one will be published here within another couple weeks or month or so. And then, of course, I got the COVID book that definitely want to try to get that out by Christmas, before Thanksgiving, if I can. So that's all in the works. All right, so those are the main things I wanted to cover before we jump right into the actual reading, which is what we are going to do next. And again, all free PDF downloads, always available at any time. And I just want to thank everybody for their support. Anyone who cares, anyone who believes not only in the truth movement, maybe what we would call the truth movement, what I used to call the truth movement, or used to be a part of the truth movement, but the real truth movement. And I believe that this book is all a part of that, and that everything has been coming down to this moment, to the moment where forces join, MAGA and MAHA join forces. We're not done yet. And it's not the end all. It's not the end all be all. We know that Jesus Christ is in charge of everything. And we always want to keep our faith there, put our hope there, not into human beings. But through human beings, Jesus Christ will show us shadows of light, and will show us some great moments in history. We don't have to be all doom and gloom. We don't have to have our starry-eyed our starry eyes out there, but somewhere in the middle is the truth. And I believe the ultimate truth is Jesus Christ. And through him, he's going to show us amazing things. And through him, with him, we are going to do some amazing things. More amazing things are yet to come in your own life, my friends. No matter what you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you're at, Jesus Christ has some amazing plans for you. All you have to do is believe. So I believe that I could write a book about Kennedy and Trump, not really knowing where it was going to go. Lots of turns and twists. And where we are reading at right now is probably one of the biggest twists that I was not prepared for, which is when somebody tried to assassinate President Donald J. Trump on live TV during a live rally. And that's where we are right now in this book reading. At the bottom of page 83 of the book, Kennedy and Trump. I'll continue on from last time. Crooks drove around the area of the event at 4 p.m. and parked next to the AGR building about 20 minutes later. One of the two Beaver ESU snipers left the event as scheduled at 4:26 p.m. In a chat with two other snipers, the sniper on his way out warns the other two snipers about a suspicious person. Someone followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars, just so you know. I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car, so he knows you guys are up there. He's sitting to the direct right on a picnic table about 50 yards from the exit. One person in the group chat responds with a thumbs up, and the other responds, Roger that. The timing is interesting, considering Crooks was seen by rally goers near the vendors at 4:26 p.m. Crooks can't be in two places at once. Now, you will see me mention this twice. This won't be the only time that that is mentioned. And sometimes you will see it kind of jump back and forth a little bit. And that is purposely done. It is purposely done to highlight certain things. And I know to the casual reader, it may seem like, oh, he just copied and pasted this and put it in two separate places and forgot to take one out. But no, it's purposely done. Continuing on. Now, under oath, Director Rowe claimed the first report of a suspicious person near the event was at 5:45 p.m. However, a Butler County Emergency Services Unit counter sniper team member texted the Secret Service counter sniper team leader about a suspicious person at 4:26 p.m. Well, that's a tongue twister. According to the text messages given to Senator Chuck Grassley by the Beaver ESU. A month after Director Rowe testified before Congress, FBI Special Agent in Charge Kevin Rojic stated, subsequent digital evidence review shows the subject was in fact near the farm show airship, walking past a row of vendors outside the secure perimeter, approximately a half mile away from the AGR grounds at 4:26 p.m. This brings up an interesting question. How can crooks be seen in two places at the same time? We need the sniper to confirm the person who, quote, followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars was Thomas Crooks. If it wasn't, it would be the best evidence of an accomplice. If it was Crooks, then perhaps he got his timing wrong, since video evidence of Crooks shows half a mile away from the AGR building is conclusive. At 4:33 p.m., I'm going to reread that sentence. If it was, then perhaps he got his timing wrong, since video evidence of Crooks half a mile away from the AGR building is conclusive. At 4:33 p.m., the text message from the Butler County ESU counter sniper team member reads as follows. Someone followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars, just so you know. I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car, so he knows you guys are up there sitting to the direct right on a picnic table about 50 yards from the exit. The Beaver County ESU first observed suspect at 5:10 p.m. around the AGR building. Specifically, a Beaver County sniper posted inside the AGR building saw Crooks walk by the window. FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate added, at approximately 5:14 p.m., a local SWAT operator took a photo of the shooter. The SWAT operator is also referred to as Beaver County AGR Sniper 1 in the Senate committee report. The sniper took a photo of Crooks using his cell phone. Who was he talking to? The reason the sniper took the photo was because he felt there was something off about the person. At 5:28 p.m., a photo of the bike next to a tree was taken. Remember, this bike was not previously there at 4:26 when Crooks was first spotted near the AGR building. President Trump's motorcade pulled into the fairgrounds at 5:30 p.m. Trump then met with a select group of supporters backstage. At the same time, Crooks is seen with a rangefinder scoping out the area. At 5:32 p.m., Sniper 1 in the AGR building was close enough to see Crooks looking at phone, news feeds, and rangefinder confirmed through monoculars. The same sniper sent the following text message to his team at 5:38 p.m. Kid learning around building we are in. It's possible the sniper meant to write leaning instead of learning, but that hasn't been verified. The sniper's text continued. AGR, I believe it is. I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards stage, FYI. If you want to notify SS snipers to look out. I lost sight of him. Also a bike with a backpack sitting next to it in rear of building that was not seen earlier. So far, we have two modes of transportation possibly connected to Crooks. What happened to the bike? Was it ever swabbed for DNA evidence? Was the backpack next to the bike tied to Crooks? Then there's a third mode of transportation mentioned in body camera footage, talk of a white van connected to the shooter. The car belonging to Crooks was searched, as documented in reports, but the bike and van are never mentioned again, as far as I could tell. Shortly after 5:38 p.m., an AGR sniper went downstairs to the exit of the AGR building in attempt to keep track of Crooks. At 5:40 p.m., another person texts, call it into command and have a uniform check it out. The Secret Service command post was aware of Crooks 25 minutes before the first shot was fired. At 5:42 p.m., Sniper 1 in the AGR building radios to the local ESU channel. Just FYI, we had a younger white male, long hair, lurking around the AGR building. He was viewed with a rangefinder sighting the stage. He was up against the building. Believe he was looking at us, and he walked around the side of the building. We lost sight of him. Also, there's a bike with a large backpack sitting beside it. It's parked in the rear of the building that wasn't there earlier. Copy, the Butler ESU commander replied at 5:43 p.m. We will send somebody to check it out. At 5:44 p.m., the Butler ESU commander notified a Butler County Sheriff's deputy about a suspicious person and then called a Pennsylvania State Police sergeant into the Secret Service security room, relaying the information from the sniper. The PSP sergeant then informed a Secret Service agent about a suspicious person with a rangefinder, reiterating the information about a bike and a backpack. The bike wasn't there, obviously, at the start of the rally. The PSP sergeant also relayed the suspicious person information to the PSP trooper assigned as the intelligence officer working with the Secret Service Protective Intelligence agent and a PSP corporal. Yes, it's very technical. This is getting very technical here. This was a tough chapter. This was a rough one. I was trying to write it with as little information as we had, but with as much information available, meaning I try to include as much of who, what, when, where, and there's a lot of people and nobody's named. So it is a little hard to follow. This is a rough chapter. At 5:45 p.m., according to Senator Chuck Grassley's website, a Beaver County sniper sends photos of Crooks to the Beaver County ESU group chat. Beaver law enforcement recommends they alert command. The text message from IN reads, If you want to send this to whoever at command, if you have cell phone, cell number. At the same time, the Butler ESU sniper team leader relayed the information to the Secret Service counter sniper team via text message. At 5:48 p.m., the Pennsylvania State Police sergeant shared photos of Crooks with the Secret Service CUAS advance agent. In the Beaver County ESU group chat at 5:51 p.m., according to screenshots, S responds with sent. P, another person in the group text, replies, "They're asking for a direction of travel." N replies, "Not sure. He was up against the building. If I had to guess, towards the back, away from the event." And if you think it's rough reading it in this book, imagine what it was like trying to go through all of these documents and make some type of sense out of this. Not an easy task. At 5:52 p.m., the text message reads, "That bike was not there when I pulled out. Maybe have them check that car." This is the same time the Secret Service counter sniper team leader emailed his team of snipers informing them about the suspicious person with the rangefinder near the AGR building. Also at 5:52 p.m., the CUAS advance agent sent photos and a description of Crooks to a Secret Service counter sniper team agent. The advance agent and a Secret Service protective intelligence agent then allegedly engaged in the on-the-ground effort to locate the individual. However, some of the Secret Service personnel interviewed by Congress stated they weren't aware the two Secret Service agents participated in the search for the suspicious person. The Secret Service site agent and the counter sniper team leader said they were not aware either. In fact, some of the Secret Service leadership at the event were not aware of the search for Crooks until after shots were fired. Stopping here for just a moment, this reminds me a little bit of JFK's murder, what happened there, where there were people posing as Secret Service agents who may not have been. I don't know. It's a wild thing. I'm looking forward to reading. There's a book called Butler. I don't know if it's out yet, but I'm looking forward to reading that and to reading some other books about what we know. But the main thing that I'm really concerned is with everything else going on with the Trump administration, that this assassination attempt and the investigation is kind of taking a backseat. But there's so much going on. There's so many things that they're looking into that it's impossible for the Trump administration to focus on everything. Right now, they've got to do some house cleaning. Right now, they've got to do some major cleaning. And then after, in the next 2 years, I believe in 2026, after the election in 2026, in the midterms, I think we'll see a lot more personal investigations, meaning a lot more stuff that maybe may not be that important to Trump right now, but kind of those things that he wants to get some closure on. And this will be one of those things. Was it really Crooks acting by himself? I don't believe it, but everyone's entitled to believe whatever they want. Okay, let's see. So just a miscommunication. Two Secret Service agents that were participating in looking for a suspicious person. Secret Service agents that didn't even know that there were two of their own agents looking into this. And the leadership didn't even know about any of this, didn't know about there was any type of search for Crooks until after shots were fired. So at 5:53 p.m., the Secret Service counter sniper team leader sent a text to his team explaining local law enforcement was looking for a suspicious person outside the perimeter lurking around the AGR building. Director Rose stated Secret Service personnel were operating with the knowledge that local law enforcement officers were working on an issue of a suspicious person, of a suspicious individual. Crooks was seen with a backpack near the AGR building at 5:56 p.m. Now remember, this is important because that backpack, there was a backpack with a bike. So where this bike come out? This bike came out of nowhere. So even if you discount the thing about there was a white van, even if you just have the bike with the backpack and you have Crooks with his car, It's more evidence that this was not just crooks. That bike, and if the backpack is tied to it, may end up being a big smoking gun, as it should be. And it's interesting, I'm not hearing a whole lot of talk about that bike. At 6 p.m., Lee Greenwood sings God Bless the USA as President Trump is seen waving to the crowd, making his way to the stage. According to FBI Deputy Director Abate, officers lost sight of the suspect from approximately 6:02 p.m. to 6:08 p.m., but continued to communicate with each other in an attempt to locate him. At 6:03 p.m., the music ended and President Trump walked to the podium to begin his speech. He stopped for a moment as the crowd chants USA. This continued for half a minute. This is a big crowd, Trump began. This is a big, big, beautiful crowd. I wish the fake news back there would show it. I wish they'd spin their cameras and show it because nobody would believe it. You know, the other day, Biden was saying, I get big crowds, meaning him. He gets big crowds. He doesn't know what a big crowd is. Trump said the country was going to hell under Biden and Harris. Our country's been stolen from us. You see that, said Trump. The first 2 minutes of the speech were focused on the past, winning the presidency in 2016, cheated out of a second term due to a rigged deal, and watching crowds of people desperate to have rallies, desperate to have anything to take back our country. At 6:05 p.m., according to the after-action report, Crooks was seen at picnic tables and moving in the direction of Sheetz. He had a backpack communicated by censored via radio. Butler Sniper stayed in place at original position. Here's where the timelines get a little confusing. How was Crooks seen at the picnic table at 6:05 p.m. when an FBI agent confirmed the suspect's movements across multiple AGR building roofs between 6:05 and 6:08 p.m.? Also at 6:05 p.m., according to official reports, Secret Service counter snipers in the Hercules 1 post to the left of Trump and furthest from the AGR building could have had a direct line of sight to Crooks for at least part of his movements across the roofs. During the Senate investigation, the Secret Service counter sniper team leader agreed, stating, "From our position, you should have line of sight, yes." Even so, according to the Senate report, the USSS counter sniper team leader and the Hercules 2 USSS counter sniper said they never saw Crooks on the roof prior to shots being fired. Next week, President Trump continued, the Republican Party will hold its convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and 5 days from now, we will officially accept the Republican nomination for President of the United States. Around 6:06 p.m., an unnamed person on the second floor of the AGR building goes downstairs to inform two law enforcement officers Crooks is outside the building Crooks is outside the building on the side of the fairgrounds. Crooks used a nearby HVAC system to climb up to the roof and disappear from authorities. Video surveillance from a nearby business shows Crooks pulling himself onto the AGR building rooftop at 6:06 p.m. Subsequent to visiting the crime scene a few weeks after the incident, Congressman Higgins noted Crooks had excellent concealment from the Northern Counter Sniper team due to the foliage branches of two trees. Crooks's firing position did not offer excellent concealment from the Southern Sniper team lead. However, it should be noted that the would-be assassin perfectly positioned himself to minimize the threat of counterfire from the ground or the USSS counter sniper teams. Crooks's firing position was also several feet back from the actual peak of the AGR rooftop. By choosing this position, Crooks effectively minimized the skyline profile of his head and upper body. We had the strongest border ever in recorded history, Trump told the crowd moments before the life-saving chart was seen on the big projector screen. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? Take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over, and look what happened to our country. At 6:08 p.m., Crooks is seen by law enforcement on the roof. At approximately 6:11 p.m., said FBI Deputy Director Abate, a local police officer was lifted to the roof by another officer, saw the shooter, and radioed that he was armed with a long gun. Senator Ron Johnson asked Director Rowe if there were explicit instructions provided to cover the roof of the AGR building. Rowe's answer was brief. It's my understanding what was communicated is that the locals had a plan and that they had been there before. This was a failure, Rowe added. We should have had better protection for the protectee. We should have had better coverage on that roof line. We should have had at least some other set of eyes from the Secret Service point of view covering that. That building was very close to that outer perimeter, and we should have had more of a presence. According to Senator Hawley, it was also the lead site agent's job to make sure that the line of sight for where Trump was clear, that the agents could see all angles, and she didn't do that. In fact, I'm told that the line of sight was obstructed, which means that agents from different angles couldn't really see potential dangers to Trump. Secret Service counter snipers at the rally did not have radio communication with local CS folks that were providing support. Rowe also confirmed Secret Service agents identified line of sight concerns at high grounds. Still, somehow, Crooks was able to make his way onto a rooftop and fire 8 shots before being killed. Of note is this was the first time Secret Service counter snipers were deployed to support the former president's detail. So the only time Secret Service counter snipers were deployed to protect President Trump was the first time someone got close enough to shoot 8 rounds at him. Regarding the unsecured building, Director Rowe stated, seeing how close that site was to the stage, seeing where it was, it definitely raised a lot of questions in my mind that there should have been physical presence, if not on the roof, that there should have been better security to prevent anyone from getting up on that roof. Two snipers were in the area of the shooter. They were not perched outside of the building, but inside. The pictures Rowe showed the Senate, says Senator Johnson, the vantage point that local law enforcement have are completely false. You'd have to be leaning outside the window. They were actually concealed behind the window. Johnson accused Rowe of trying to pin the blame on local law enforcement when it was a failure of the Secret Service. And that's where I'm going to stop for today. It's a rough chapter. It's a tough chapter to read, rereading it and then reading it out loud too. But it's very important documented data that I pulled from so many different sources, so many different files, from interviews, from hearings, and this is the best that I could do to try to make some type of sense of it, put it into some type of a timeline. So I do apologize if it is a little bit rough, if the rating is a little bit rough, but it's very important stuff here. And I'd rather get it from them than kind of summarize it. The facts matter, the details matter. And so if it reads like a textbook, just know that was my intent. that was exactly what I wanted. And it may sound rough. It may be a rough chapter, a tough chapter to read, especially certain parts. But when you are a researcher and you're going back and you're doing your own research on this, maybe some of the data that I put in here may help you, especially that bike and the backpack and the fact that we are looking for an accomplice overseas. with in relationship to Crooks's encrypted um, phones and emails or whatever he had, who he was talking to while he was there outside of the AGR building, how he knew the AGR building would be a great place, why he felt confident even though there were snipers and people inside of those buildings. I mean, this is where there were people literally inside of those buildings, law enforcement, snipers, and he felt comfortable going up onto the rooftop right on top of them. And the bike is, I still keep going back to that bike. Where did this bike come from? How did the bike all of a sudden get there? And if there was a backpack on the bike and Crooks wasn't seen with the backpack, which photos did not show him with the backpack, it's only there later, right before he gets onto the roof, who brought him the backpack there? It's some of the best evidence that Crooks, that this is not a lone gunman thing. So, all right, everyone, God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Remember, Jesus Christ loves you, so do I. And until next time, see you then.